We'll do it.
Yeah, I was like, if I could do, I didn't know if I'd do it sideways. I'm like, all right. Some apps
Now
are like, screw you.
Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. We are live. Chris Curtis is just getting his camera all set up with us.
All right, I'm back. All right, figured it out.
Back again. Welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Chris Curtis.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Glad to have you here. We got to spend some time with you last weekend watching some fist fights down in Price, Utah.
It was fisticuffs for fun last weekend. Actually, it was a really good card. For the number of debuters on it, it was surprisingly a really good card.
You had a lot of your teammates on that card, correct?
Yeah, we had 3 or 4 guys from Syndicate out there. The guy from 10th Planet, where I go. There's a lot of friends and teammates out there. It was great. It's fun night.
So what was it like being a spectator and watching some of your guys, some of your boys throwing down in there? Oh
man, watching your friends fight's always worse than fighting. Like when I fight, I'm not panicked at all. I've got too many fights. I'm calm. I tend to sleep until it's time to go. But when you watch your friends and teammates fight, you're always like, oh my God, you guys are screwing up. Everything you're doing is wrong.
There was one fight in particular that it seemed like I want to make sure I word this right. You're a little more invested in that co-main event than some of the other ones.
Well, my Ryan's a boy of mine. He's a good training partner, man. Like I've watched him, known him since he came to the gym. I watched him grow and become better. Yeah. And that was probably the fight I was most invested in because that guy works his ass off, and I'll be able to see him grow from when he came in to where he is now. So you hate seeing somebody put in all the work and not get the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people suck too, so that I almost ended up fighting the crowd in that one. Yeah,
I know. I had to come out there and kind of pull you back a little bit. It's like, man, it's like, hey, I can't stop you. Like I can stand here for a second, but I'm not stopping.
This is why I don't leave my house. Like I just go out. Like there are people start saying things. Like I'm mature in some areas, but otherwise, the other areas I'm still like 18-year-old me. So it's just this is why I don't go out.
Zach's yelling at me from the commentary booth, and I'm like, "What?" And you look over there, and then you're going at it with Johan. I'm like, shit!" I'm like,
what do I do?
I'm like, what am I gonna do? I can't stop you from fighting these guys. Like,
Jordan's panicking. He's like, "What do I do?"
He's on air.
So, my bad.
Hey, no, it was all, but nothing happened.
That was on me. My bad.
It is what it is.
Strictly speaking, from the fight's perspective, like we know Ryan's opponent. I was actually scheduled to fight him on the Fierce card that you ended up fighting on because that was a rescheduled. No, the one before that was the rescheduled one. But I was supposed to fight Johan at the Maverick Center a few months before that. So I knew him pretty well, and Jason, we knew him pretty well, and so we were looking for a really good fight, and he was, and Ryan was game, and he did some things. When you have a buddy like that, he just made his pro debut, didn't go the way that he was hoping, what do you tell him after?
For me especially, it's different. I tell guys all the time, I lost my pro debut. Technically I won it, but I actually ended up losing it. But it doesn't really matter. Dan Strauss is a guy who Dan lost 4 in a row when he went pro, and he goes on to become Bellator champion twice. So it sucks, man. It definitely sucks, but get your losing out the way early.
Yeah.
And you gotta roll through. Like fighting's one of those things where you got 50-50 shot at winning or losing. And on a long enough timeline, man, everyone takes a loss eventually. So it's lose early.
We have, I don't know if you could see the comment on there, but Adam Miller, mutual friend that we've just connected with.
Oh, hey, okay, that's the comments. Hey, hi Adam, what's up? No, it's my old. Oh, I pressed buttons. There we go.
Yeah.
I ruined it.
There you go.
Nope, I ruined it. I messed up.
We can hear you. You're good.
We could see you and hear you.
Oh, he must have. Oh, he froze on us a little bit.
Internet.
That's all right. We'll get him back in here in just a second. He'll be back in here. I'm interested on him. Keep touching on that a little bit more on what you tell these young guys when they lose.
Well, he has. Whoa.
I don't know what
double screen.
Yeah, I screwed up. I don't know what. There we go. All right. Yeah.
We good.
Obviously can't touch things. No, Adam was my strength and conditioning coach from back home in Cincinnati. Dude's mad scientist in the weight room. So
he
what's up, Adam?
He sent me a thing on like Monday, just a message, added me on Facebook. He said, "Hey, I'm back in Ohio. Here's my credentials. I like your guys' podcast." He's like, "Hey, I might be able to get Chris Curtis on your podcast." And I'm like,
dude, Adam,
it's just with Chris.
If there is someone who believes in me, it is Adam. That is, if there is somebody who truly believes in me, it is definitely Adam. So
he spoke very highly of you. Spoke very highly.
Oh no, he's tried to kill me multiple times in conditioning, but he's definitely one of the reasons why like I have the gas tank that I do.
Hell yeah.
So curious. So you came up in Ohio. At what point did you realize that you needed to get down to Vegas?
I was in Ohio for like the first 7 years of my career. And my first CES title fight, I went to California actually.
Okay.
Because it was like they gave me a title shot for CES, and everybody all my friends I have a bunch of friends who won CES titles who got signed to the UFC like immediately. So I was like, okay, this is my shot in. So I was like, I need to really be ready. And I was looking for anywhere to go, and I was gonna go to ATT. And then Tom Glicchio is at Team Quest in California. He called me, like I fought him a long time ago, became a really good friend of mine. He's like, hey, come down to California. So I went down there. I ended up living with Sam Alvey for like 3 years. And then when I got my PFL shot, my PFL signed the PFL, we were looking around and just Vegas had like 20 welterweights that I knew of offhand. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to Vegas. There's a lot of guys my size. There's a lot of guys doing a lot of stuff who are around my weight. So we're like, about 2 years ago, 2 years, bro. How long have I been in Vegas? It's almost 3 years now. I think it's been going on 3 years now that I came to Vegas, and I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to leave.
That's awesome.
I mean, you fought a lot of guys that are in the UFC. Good fight, like Bilal Muhammad. Hello, people heard of him.
Bilal Muhammad. The one fight I went back.
Is that the one?
That's one of the ones that is Bilal and Magomed. I'm actually not Bilal, Magomed, and Ray because I'm petty. But Bilal, I want that fight. I want that fight back so bad. That was such like the worst experience in my life, man. I was like dying going into that fight. So I'd love to run that back. Like, hats off to him. He won, did what he needed to do, but it was just such a bad fight. I felt so terrible in that fight. I'm like, one day Bilal Muhammad. But no, he's kicking ass, man. I'm happy for him. I'm just like, bad showing.
Yeah. That actually brought it to another thing. Magomed, and with your PFL, in your PFL fights, I'm not trying to harp on it. How do we beat Russians, Chris? What do we need to do to figure out to start beating these guys with Magomedov and Magomed? No, all it is you wrestle with Russians and then you become Russian proof. So
there you go.
I spent the last year and a half wrestling with the guys from Dagestan, and I'm like, all right, now my wrestling is like better. I'm an honorary member of the Dagestan wrestling team, so you just gotta it's such a unique style of like fighting and grappling, the way they do it. So like once you get exposed to it, like in the fight, it's rough to kind of adjust to it. But once you train and go in that style and you get used to it, it's not the same. So like I love Magomed to death, man. He's a decent guy. I like the guy. But like if we fought again, it definitely wouldn't be that way.
Because I always look at it and I'm like, so I think we talked a little bit on the broadcast. I have a kid from my team that I train with, who's dude, he's sky's the limit. He's a young stud, been doing it since he's 5 years old. And his eyes are set on one day being the UFC 155 champ. And I remember asking his dad, who's kind of been one of his coaches, like lifelong coaches. And I was like, so at what point do you guys like fly to Dagestan for 9 months to a year and figure that out? Cause I'm like, we have to address it.
It's true, man. It's a very different style. Like, the mentality and the pacing is different than like, American, like, folk style wrestling and whatnot. You just got to get used to it. The more you're exposed to it, the better, the more you understand it. And like, you adopt parts of it and you can counter it better. And it's just not as weird. Like looking back on it now, Magomed, it wasn't super, no shot was super crazy. No, there was nothing super technical that I've ever seen before. It's just the mentality and the way they chain is different.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like their process of going through takedowns and linking stuff is different. So, you know, not used to, you know, when you're used to like certain types of wrestling, you think, you know, you're like, okay, this comes after this and this, and their entire process is just different. But now that I've been exposed to it, I'm wrestling more. I'm like, okay, I understand like how the chain differs from like what you're used to. And like now that style of wrestling it's not scary anymore because I've seen it, I'm aware of it, I've trained for it. It's completely different. So it's one of those things I think you'll see a lot more as it comes up. As people get more and more exposed to it, where it's like, okay, it's not the boogeyman that it was.
Oh, okay. So you're saying it is beatable because my biggest fear is that I'm like, just give it like 5 years. They'll have a Dagestani champion in every weight class in the UFC, and it's just going to be like, yeah.
No, I think it's definitely beatable. I think guys are starting to figure it out too. You know, people are starting to see the differences and like how to adjust for it. And it's just adjustments, man. But like once you do it, you're like, you got guys like Khabibs who are just freaks regardless.
Well,
but
sure.
not everybody's a Khabib. So like, you know,
exactly.
I think for the most part, you start seeing things and like it's just. I would love to run back those fights. I love Magomed, but I'd love to run those fights back just because I'm like, it would not go that way. Like, again, I promise you it wouldn't.
So you have a fight coming up very soon, next Friday night, right?
Yeah. Yep. Next Friday. It's XMMA, yes, in South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh, flying all the way out to South Carolina. Humid. Very humid in South Carolina.
Have gloves, we'll travel, man. Like you just, you know, as long as you the check clears, I will show up with the gloves and we will fight.
What do you know about your opponent? I'm looking at him on Tapology, and I mean, no disrespect, but you think he's going to be in for a long night?
He's a former UFC guy, man. He's had some good wins. He's fought some good people. He fought Ron Carnero. He's fought Ben Saunders. He hasn't been active, man. I'm not really sure like why he would propose for this fight, but you know, I'll never say no to a good scrap. And you know, hats off to him. You know, dude's done his thing, but I've got more fights than you. I've got far more experience than you. I fought more times this year than he has in the last 5. So
yeah, he fought back in March, but didn't fight the past 5 years before that. It looks like.
Yeah. You know what? I don't question people's designs or intentions or desires. I just show up and beat people up.
Just put the gloves on and go to
simple.
work.
Yeah. Manager Lance points me in the direction. He's like, go kill that thing. And we go kill that thing, and we get paid, and we go on to the next one.
So let me ask you this. What type of cookie are you going to eat after your W next Friday night?
Loaded question because so I am sponsored by Crumble Cookie, which is phenomenal. But your wife messed me up, and she had she had these Biscoff, like homemade like Biscoff cookies, and oh my god, like it completely blew my mind. So now I think I'm cheating on Crumble because I'm like, it was so good.
Hey,
and like now Crumble's gonna beat me, but like I am going to order a box from you. Those are freaking amazing.
Hey, you shoot me your address and let me know if you want a whole box of Biscoff. I'll have them ship them down. She actually ships to Vegas quite often because we have a lot of bodybuilder friends down there, and after they compete, she'll ship orders down there. So yeah.
Oh, I want a box of those. Oh, now I need a box of those cookies. Like, oh my god, it was amazing.
And you'll actually be able
about cookies while he's a week out from cutting weight.
Bro,
Jason,
so
you jerk.
they're looking at me because you guys were there. I couldn't eat it, so I'm just like chewing a cookie up and spitting it out, and just like loving it. I chewed up 2 cookies, just chewed them up, spit them out. Like it was a wonderful though.
2 or 3, Chris?
It was 2. I took 1 home.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, I took 1 home. I was gonna give it away, but I ate it. Like I like chewed that one and spit it too. Like no,
we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you after the fight. We got you.
I'm looking forward. Oh my god, I can't wait.
What I'll do is I'll send you a message with a list of just the ones she makes.
Right,
you just tell me what you want, and I'll have her make them.
I will take advantage. So I'm lucked out. I've reached that point today, I think, to where like my calories have been so low that I'm pretty much fasting almost. And like I got through the hunger pains and like you reach that like weird fasting clarity level. My last practice today, and I was just kicking ass. I was on fire. So I'm like, okay, I've got my fasting, starving guy superpower. So I'm good for the weekend. I'll be good, and then I'll die Monday, but camp's over by then. So today is the last hard day of camp. Like, I'm focused. Everything's cool. Everything feels great. I'm like, all right, I'm not hungry, which is working out. I'm like, all right, this is it. Perfect timing. Peaked 1 week out. Absolutely wonderful. So I can talk about food right now without dying.
Okay. See, like, I don't know the veteran tricks, and I don't cut enough weight that I have to like chew stuff up and spit it out. I just,
smart man. Smart man. Yeah, this is not the worst way to do it. Oh, she said she's got me. I love you.
Yeah. So the guy that fought your boy Ryan Hamilton, he said, yeah, if we ever fight, if we ever get a chance to fight each other, he goes, I'll probably eventually get down to 155. So maybe we'll fight at 155. I'm like, nah, dog, I ain't ever going down to 155.
This is my first one back at 170 in like a year and a half. I'm like, oh man, I forgot how much this sucks. So there's about a 3 week span where I was like, I think I'm dying. I think I'm dying. But now I'm like, okay, I'm over the hill. I'm fine.
So you talked earlier about you'd love to get that Bilal fight back, and then obviously Magomed. But the one fight that I actually would be so intrigued with is you were supposed to fight Austin Vanderford in Bellator.
Yeah, man.
And that fight would be incredible.
So I spoke to Vanderford, like when I got COVID, I messaged him like, hey man, I'm sorry. And we're just laughing because he kept getting COVID. And then he's fine. Then I got COVID. We're just like, you know what? I don't know what's happening. It's just like he kept getting fights canceled and he kept getting sick. Then I got like COVID for the second time. So we just laughed it off like, all right, it's not in the cards. Like,
yeah.
Who knows?
But I mean, I just think, for like, he's obviously a stud. He's been kind of running through everybody in Bellator. It's like, that is a matchup that would just, I think, could headline a card.
I'll do anything for money.
Okay.
Hey man, that's 20's a 20. Like, we'll do anything for $1.
Yep. So here's another question for you. His wife is headlining a card on Bare Knuckle Boxing tonight. Paige Van Zant. Did Bare Knuckle Boxing do anything for you? Do you care about that at all?
Dude, so you'll laugh, but as someone who came up through boxing, loves boxing, my first love, I genuinely cannot watch bare knuckle boxing. Like I can't. So there's a handful of people in there who I feel are like legitimately good boxing, but I feel like a lot of it is just people just swinging. And you got the Artem Lobovs who are just in there just like swinging because with no gloves on, even if you suck, you're gonna cut somebody. There's a couple really good guys in there.
Yeah,
I know. If I'm friends with a few of them who are like legitimately good boxers, I think it's a lot of it's though a lot of guys who are just swinging, looking to do damage. And not only that, it's like once you get hit, my God, like people's faces are split open. They look like jigsaw. Like I'm just like, nah, man.
See, I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Yeah, not a fan. Yeah, I'm just I'll support all my friends that do it. But like, oh, would you do it or would you watch it? Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not.
You just said you'd do anything for money, dog.
Except that. Yeah, except that. Yeah. But I won't do that. Yeah, that's
I have a hard time watching the lower level fights there as they get like some of like the main events, co-main events. There actually been some good fights, but as a whole, doesn't really do anything for me.
Once you get towards the top, the top card, like it's much better, more technical fights. But they're just guys in there just cutting each other to ribbons, just swinging. And I'm like, man, half the thing you're watching, like all these people get messed up. And like, if you had any type of actual like boxing acumen, you wouldn't be this bad. Like, you wouldn't be getting like sliced this bad. But then even with the good guys, you get caught with a glancing punch and now you're split open. I'm just like, oh, it's not for me.
Yeah. I am not complaining about the main event tonight, though. I will be watching the bare knuckle main event tonight.
You know what? I love Rachel, but I like Vanderford a lot. So I'm gonna have to pull for Paige just out of respect for Vanderford. Man, he's a good dude. So don't want to see his wife get beat up. So I'm gonna pull.
I don't want to see either of them
principle.
I don't want to see either of them. I do think Paige is the better fighter, though. I think she'll. And that experience means something in that bare knuckle. Yeah. If you've already done it before, I think
Rachel hasn't fought in a long time too, has she?
I think she took
over a year.
Yeah, it's been over a year.
Yeah. I would say Paige is a bit scrappier. Yeah, more experience, and Bare Knuckle a bit scrappier.
And she had a war her first fight. Like she threw down. She was impressive. Anyways, let's keep talking about your fight. We don't need to talk about those guys.
I'm thinking I'm imagining like fucking Knuckles cutting people's face and just like the gash. Like, can't do it.
I mean, speaking of Knuckles and cutting and violence, does it get much more violent? I don't know. The most interesting violent man that I follow on Instagram is
Sean Strickland.
Your boy Sean Strickland. You knew right where I was going with that one.
Yeah, he's. Oh God, yep. He's so Sean and I've been friends for a few years. He's
a different breed, man.
The thing is, like, it's funny because you guys are like, he's starting to become some recognition now, and people are like, oh, he's crazy. Like, you don't understand how much worse he used to be. I take credit for like making him slightly more humane, because like 3 years ago, like he was even worse. Like he's calmed down a little bit in his older age. So like, yeah, it's you guys just don't know, man. That dude's he's a throwback to a different time, and not like the 70s or like 80s. He's a throwback to like 1656 when we were, they were invading battlefields in England. Like that dude should have been born with an axe in hand, like mercenary on a battlefield somewhere. But we got him, so
we'll take him.
Take it.
Well, we can't get rid of him, so you gotta take him.
I enjoy it, but he's just like he's so intriguing, and he's so brutally honest. He just legitimately says exactly what he feels. And people will always be drawn to authenticity. I fully believe that.
It's just, if there's a camera following him around for 24 hours, he would lose his job.
So it's funny. Zack tried to get him on the podcast, and Lance was like, you don't want that guy on the podcast.
No, he would immediately lose his job. Like there's a reason why he doesn't do a lot of media.
He did an interview with. I watched his interview with James Lynch. I watched his interview with James Lynch. I'm like, it was fine. It was fine.
He's getting better, but like, you can't. Yeah, keep very short leash for that guy.
I think.
So what you're saying is, we could do the video. We can do the interview. We just shouldn't go live with the interview.
No, it's not. It has heavily edited.
Heavily edited. Okay.
Heavily edited. Yeah, but he's just you don't run into many people like that. Like he's very truly an unfiltered person.
Yeah. Well, you guys remember after your last fight up here in Salt Lake City, him and you were very kind enough. You invited me. You said you should come to get ready for your fight. You should come down and train with us.
Yeah, dude, come down, man. Well,
so my coach goes, "Have you ever watched him spar before?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Go watch." He's like, "You're not going down there during your fight camp because you won't come back to Salt Lake alive, dude." He's like, that guy doesn't spar, he fights.
So we do have Sean Strickland buffers in like sparring, to where like, there are people who like buff, who like, certain people who have to buffer Sean so he can like fight, and then like, yeah. So we'd keep you away from Sean. You would gain nothing from that but a concussion.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay.
Hey, yeah. Roman says go down there, Zach. There he is.
Dude, hey, man,
we'll make a trip there for sure.
We'll train. We'll keep you away from Sean. Like there are Sean buffer zones. Like
Sean buffer zones. I love it. Oh man,
it's so good. Yeah, I mean he's got a big fight coming up too. Main event,
first main event. Yeah,
that's awesome.
The work's done. Yes, and now it's just now we wait.
So I mean, you guys train together a lot, right? I mean,
I've been training with Sean for 4 or 5 years now. Yeah,
and I mean, so what? How many wars have you had with Sean?
For this camp, luckily, not really any, because we're both fighting, and then I'm a southpaw. I'm a 5'10" southpaw, so I'm like, I can't really help you this camp. So Aaron Jeffries has been the unfortunate stand-in for this one. Yeah. But I mean, Sean and I have had wars. We've had multiple actual fist fights, to where it's like it's not even a sparring, but like fights broke out, to where like we've been kicked out of the gym like twice for fighting each other. So we've had actual fist fights. Like,
I want the video of
I want to be a fly on the wall for
video
those training
that.
sessions.
There's a couple awesome videos to where like swinging on each other and like they're trying to break us up. Like Nate Marquardt's in the background, like oh god, like it's great. So, there's some fun videos. I gotta find those pictures, but we have some fun video. You know, you spend so much time with somebody, you get annoyed with them eventually.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but like
human nature.
Jason came up and we did some video stuff for our website and our podcast and stuff. And he came up and it was like one of my Shark Tank days a couple weeks ago, like probably like my last, it was one of my last couple really hard, days. And I screamed some expletives at one of my teammates, somebody that I love, right? I love that guy. And I screamed at him, and then I tried to kick him right in the face, like as hard as I could.
Sean tried to sucker kick me. Like it wasn't sucker punch. She was like a head kick sucker punch.
Yeah.
And I'm dove at him, and my boy Ricky laughed. So the first time we fought, he's like, "There's two high-ranked professional fighters." He said, "You guys got to a fist fight. Nobody landed a punch at point blank range." He's like, "What was that?" So this has happened a few times, but you spend so much time with anybody, you get sick of them. You just get sick of people's shit when you're tired, and but at the end of the day, man, I'm always pulling for him, and I'm always gonna be the guy in his corner. So it sucks I can't be in his corner for this one because I'm fighting the same day, but he's done the work. So let's get this main event win. Hopefully, it gives me a shout out and get signed because they're trying to run off of that. So we'll see.
You deserve it.
I'm actually wanted to lead into. I'm glad you said that because I wanted to say what's next for you after this fight. Is that the goal? Is to try to get that contract?
Yeah, I've started out with that goal, and I've turned down other opportunities and other organizations because I want to pursue this goal. And every time I've wanted to walk away, I can't because I set out with this goal so many years ago. People close to me and I love have sacrificed and suffered in order to me to try to attain this. So I can't really be done until I've had my shot. And, or either have my shot or there's just, I reached a point to where there's just no chance it'll ever happen. So until that happens, I've got to keep pulling for it. So, right now I'm trying to get 10 fights this year. I'll kill everyone I put in front of me. If I can rock out 10 wins this year against decent people, why not give me my shot?
I respect that.
I think Zach and I have talked about it even before you fought your fight up here. We talked about you being, and you heard it on here with Roman and Adam. You're clearly one of, if not the top unsigned guy across the nation.
No, he's
now.
the top guy. He is
every weight class. You are the guy. Why is this guy not fighting for the UFC?
I'm a very unlucky guy, man. I took the long road. My mom always says, my mother always said that I took everything on the long path, the hard path. And it's just the way that things have played out. You can't look back at all the missteps and whatever. That's what drives you crazy. That's what'll kill you, is looking back on the what could have to, what went wrong.
True.
But it's everyone. I'm in Vegas, fight capital of the freaking world. Everyone here knows that I should have had my shot years ago, and so. There's so many camps I'm a part of, or guys who are headlining cards and whatever contender fights. Who I'm a huge part of their camp. I'm being brought in for other fights, so I'm at that level. I'm that guy. I'm at that level. They all know it here. I just need a chance to show it.
Come on, Uncle Dana. I'm sure.
You know what? I'll just keep killing people until they give me the chance.
Sean can give you a little shout out after his win.
Hey. I got Sean, I got Chiesa, I got Jared Cannonier, a bunch of guys fighting me. Cannonier's got something coming up. I'm going to be a part of his camp for that. Yeah. So, there's a lot of people. Puna, my guy, Puna's fighting this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So, I'm just
we expect big things out of Puna.
I love Puna. He's genuinely one of the most violent people you'll ever meet, but one of the nicest human beings you'll ever come across. But he fights like somebody stole his money, but he is one of the nicest the nicest, funniest human beings you'll ever come across. It's Hawaiian, very, bro. Dude, right? They're all that way.
Polynesian blood.
Right? Dude, it's hilarious. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing Puna kill this guy this weekend too.
So real quick, you got the fight next Friday night. How can people watch?
I'm pretty sure there's a live stream for it on the xmma.com. I'm fairly certain there is.
Oh, they usually do. They usually have it.
And and for those that don't know, this is a huge card. Ramsey from here in Salt Lake is fighting Ben Sanders for the main event. Marcus Brimage, UFC vet, is coming back co-main event. Steve Seiler, tough vet, and Bellator PFL fighting Will Brooks. Kenny Robertson. I mean, this is
there's a lot of vets on this card. They did it last time too. They had a lot of vets on the card. So XMA, they're definitely go out and finding guys who are going to throw down. So yeah,
they're the ones doing
XMMA.com.
Aren't they the ones doing the one promotion thing? Or no, that's I'm thinking of
that's another one.
I'm
You're thinking of a different one.
I'm thinking of the one in Arizona.
Yeah.
But awesome.
Right.
Hey, and Chris, so my last question, and then I'll let you get out of here.
First of all, free sponsor. This stuff is amazing. The Coke with coffee, the zero sugar. Like, dude, this stuff is like crack. Oh, like the zero sugar one, the dark blend, it's like crack, man. Like, I can't, I had to stop buying them. So
I was about to say, I think you've had 3 of them since we've started recording.
No, I've been making this one last because, I can only drink one every 2 days now. So I'm just it's so good.
I'm just teasing. So your picture on Tapology, you have no hair, no beard. Now you got the nice thick beard and
I don't know who picked that picture.
Bro, go claim your page.
I'm gonna have to get Lance to claim it because I don't know who's choosing these pictures, but I'm I used to have another one where I was I had one before that where I had a soul patch. That was my picture, and I was like, man, who's picking these pictures? You guys are just messing with me.
It's got to be Lance.
It's Lance.
He's probably dicking with me, honestly. He really probably is. He's laughing.
Are you a believer that the beard makes it harder to find that off button on the chin?
I mean, I would say I did get knocked out with a beard, so apparently it's not that surefire. But I don't know, man. I think when it's never bothered me, but I feel like people maybe do have an issue of trying to find where my chin is. But I'm just aim under their mouth. But apparently people have trouble with it. So I'm I never had a problem finding someone's face, a chin through a beard. But apparently some people are just stupid.
That is for dang sure. And we will end on that. Apparently some people are just stupid.
Hey Chris, I'm gonna have my wife send you the menu. Pick the cookies you want. We'll get you taken care of after your fight.
Oh, tell your wife I am eternally grateful because I was sitting there telling people about these cookies. Guys, you don't know. I'm just and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I need more of these cookies."
Hey, I had to put a ring on it very quick.
I understand. I entirely do. Yeah.
Prediction for next Friday.
Oh man, TKO second round.
Cool. Thanks, Chris.
I'm all
Appreciate
in
you coming on the podcast, man.
I'm all in. Thanks again, Chris.
Thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to being back.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.